Hey there, hope you're having a beautiful day. I think it's time we talk about evil and purposes of evil besides the sadistic pleasure that evil people or evil creatures derive from hurting others. There's a battle going on, and it's going on everywhere. From your home to your workplace to the church to everywhere. And this battle is going on for your senses. The battle is going on for your soul, for your heart. And this is what I want to talk about today. I think to be able to talk about this topic, we would have to define first what is evil. And that is a huge topic. I think philosophers have spent their whole life talking about this, trying to figure out something that everyone would agree on. But I think we could agree that all sadistic people or creatures have this evil side of them. And so I am going to try to talk about evil as in sadism, as in sadistic people, and relate to them as in people who have evil in them, evil intentions, evil sides, evil choices, things that do not consider the well-being of others and search to improve oneself on the expense of others. And that could mean on the expense of life of others or well-being of others. So I really don't want to spend too much time trying to define evil, but I am here to talk about its goals, because it does have a goal besides the pure pleasure that it derives from being sadistic and hurting others or even killing others. I think one of its main goals is to have good people die, and not just die. It acts as an infection. It enters into oneself and attaches itself to the mind, to the soul, to the heart, and fights a really great fight against all of those until the soul is so broken that there's so much suffering that it cannot anymore sustain itself in the place of love, and it just reaches into fear, and from there on it just suffers too much and could get into a place of suicidal ideation, and from there into, trying to commit suicide. The downward spiral is not too big. So in my opinion, evil wants good people to take their own life, and I derive this opinion from my experience with evil in my own life and from the stories that I've heard from many different people or from around the world. It's all over the place. It's in movies. It's everywhere. It's in stories. It's in childhood stories. Like, we've been told all about this, just like with metaphors and not straightforward, and we pretend it doesn't exist, but it does. Not only it exists, but it grows. It's been growing exponentially. It acts as an infection, and it has been making society sicker and sicker and sicker, at least in the last 10 years. Society has been developing new adapting strategies to the new future, to the new world, that are not especially healthy in a mental way. Empathy is going away. Serious relationships are going away. Love is dying, and we are just like these little frogs put into the boiling water that it's not really boiling. It's cold at first, right? And the temperature is rising and rising, and we don't think that something bad is gonna happen, but it's already almost boiling, and evil wants us dead, and it wants us to commit suicide. It doesn't want to straightforward kill us, because there is some element of karma, I believe. Not that I pretend to know the laws of the universe or, whatever happens after this life, but I do feel like they have to, like, to be ultimately successful, they would have to break your soul to such a level that you just cannot take this anymore and you want to end it yourself. And so to be able to do that, they attach to your heart. And that's why you have so many narcissistic and toxic relationships lately. They would have to first get inside of you, and they do that through the senses. It acts a lot like infection. I really like the Bird Box movie in that sense. It's been talked so much about, and there's a reason for that. But it acts as an infection. It goes through your eyes. It can come in through your ears with words, trigger words especially. Haven't watched my trauma-based mind control video. You can understand there a little bit more on how trigger words can really get inside of you and try to manipulate you. It can get through touch, it can get through vision. This whole thing of marketing everywhere we go is acting on us through vision, through sound, through everything. And so once it gets inside, you have really toxic messages that are really trying to affect each and every concept of love that is inside of us and attack each and every one of them, trying to show you that you're not enough, that you're not pretty enough, you're not confident enough, you're not this enough, that enough, you don't have enough money, trying to bring you down, trying to inject insecurities inside of you, trying to inject fears inside of you that are not really yours. And narcissists are big on this. Trying to infantilize children, tell them that without the narcissistic or psychopathic parent, they're worth nothing. Trying to teach people need. What do you have in movies? Like so many romantic comedies these days, and all you've got there is the idea of missing someone, and needing someone is actually loving them, when in fact love has nothing to do with this. Yeah, when you love someone you'd miss them, but missing them alone is not love. And so if it can nudge you out of your love space inside of you, you're so much easier prey. If you act out of fear, you feel disconnected first and foremost from yourself, and this is a big win for the side of evil. Once you disconnect from yourself, you cannot sustain yourself in a way. You don't. It's an energetic thing as well. You don't have this abundance of love and empathy for yourself. You're not your own best friend, and so you start looking outside of yourself for things to validate you or sustain you or nourish you. And so in that way you become dependent on the outside world, and the outside world is infested with people who are not doing none to almost none of the mental work that you need to do in order to heal yourself mentally, because we do all have traumas. Somewhere in our life something happened. We all have traumas. No one's born perfect into a perfect family and had, perfect upbringing. And so we do have to treat ourselves, and we do have to heal. We do have to talk about the bad things that happen to us. And once you try to look outside of yourself, you are prone, you are maybe destined to so many disappointments that you'll either be brought down to your knees, or you will be brought down to your knees and you will want to fly again. And I hope that if you're in a really bad space, I can tell you that this life has so much to live for. You can get out of there. And I just want to hug your heart and tell you that it's going to be okay. I've been there. You can get out of this. You can be okay. And more than okay. And so they try to attack your heart, and your heart is a symbolic thing we talk about a lot. Some would argue that the heart and the soul are the same thing. And once they attack your heart, there's so much heartbreak. This is kind of one of the first goals that they have to achieve in order to break you. And if they do it enough, at some point people give up. They give up on the idea of love, either romantic love or any type of love. And once you do that, you lose. Basically, But your heart is not broken. Your heart cannot be broken. You have the intent to continue to be healthy and live and thrive in this world and have a good life, and surround yourself with beautiful people, beautiful on the inside. This phrase is a very toxic phrase. I would try to even refrain from using this phrase, because your heart is something that is with you your whole life. And we can go from here to the argument of whether or not evil is born or made, and we would never end this argument if we do this today, but the important thing is for you to know that you gotta guard your heart, especially if you're out of a toxic relationship or out of heartbreak. You gotta guard your heart better, and you gotta really filter the people that you let into your life, and know that whatever you hear, whatever you see, whatever you let touch you has huge impact on you. And so filter the things that you let near your senses, because this is its way in, and it wins if you go so low that you just want to end it, or if you go so low that you just decide that you're gonna give up and you're gonna be one of them. Be evil, be hurtful, not care anymore, be manipulative, control other people, not regard whatever they feel, not have anyone in your regard, not be compassionate anymore. Just be logical, right? Because it's so beautiful to be logical, and it's so beautiful and sold out to be smart today. But you can be smart and you can be kind at the same time. You don't have to cancel them. There are actually people in the world who are smart and have good hearts at the same body and time, you know? It happens, it's real. You can do it too. Don't give up your heart. This is a huge battle that's been going on, and you've got all of the scapegoat stories to prove that. People born into really evil ritualistic families, and they've been abused from day one, and they did not come up to be evil. So, you know, your circumstances do not define you, and they do not justify your actions if your actions are made outside of love. So my message for you today is guard your heart, keep the hope, keep the love alive, and I hope you're gonna be continuing to have a beautiful day, evening, morning, whenever this finds you. And I'm gonna see you soon. Bye.